Ah shit, here we go again. Yeah, it turns out there were more Megamind Rules episodes. Isn't that great? Now I want to clear something up. This is not season 2. This is merely the second half of season 1 that just got released 3 months after the first batch for some reason. So just like last time, I would like to reiterate that these new episodes are not my fault. I did not draw enough attention to this show to greenlight its second season. Yet. Anyway, yeah, that's it. I don't really have much else of an intro. Let's just pretend my original video kept going, because that way we can get this over with sooner. I'm only really doing this because I have to at this point. In for a penny and all that. Alright, time for episode 9 or whatever. So unfortunately, I had to renew my Peacock subscription to watch the rest of this, and I'm not happy about that. I mean, I already watched the TED show. What else is even on here? Thanks so much, Peacock. You took my $6. Now I'm gonna starve. Oh well, like I said, as soon as this video gets done, I can cancel my subscription until Megamind Season 2 inevitably gets greenlit. Or when TED Season 2 comes out. Guys, I know that seemed like a bit in my last video, but I genuinely really enjoyed the TED show. It's actually super funny. Let's talk about the opposite of super funny. Megamind Rules. This episode picks up where we left off, with Machiavellian posing as a hero to the entire city. Once again, with a name like that, how can you not be convinced he's a good guy? He pretends to beat up the Doom Syndicate to prove he's a hero and stuff, and he has some epic lines, like when he says, "knock yourself out," and the mime knocks himself out. Or when he says, "this French is toast." A clever reference to the popular breakfast food scrambled eggs, because my brain is scrambled watching this shit again. Please make it stop. Anyway, Megamind and Minion are crashing in Keiko's basement, because her mom is totally okay with this alleged dangerous former supervillain being here. I don't know, the mom's kinda cool, I like her. So you know how they teased Metro Man at the end of the last episode? Well, off screen, they found his hideout abandoned, so that means Megamind gave up on finding him forever, I guess. Instead, he's just gonna be depressed and eat a shit ton of donuts. What is it with him and donuts in this show? I couldn't remember if that was just like a minor trait in the original movie that they took and flanderized in this, but I don't think it was. I think they just made up that he's obsessed with donuts now. So obsessed that he's gonna risk getting caught by the authorities and breaking curfew at Keiko's house, which he has to follow despite being an adult for some reason, just to get his hands on more donuts. That is the catalyst for the plot of this episode. Megamind wants donuts. That's awesome.
In fact, I often like to imagine our lives are a television show on a popular streaming service, loved by all.
How do we tell him?
What is that clicking? Crickets?
Oh no, it's those damn cicadas again! Yeah, I feel you, Megamind. I hate those little creeps. Speaking of little creeps, what are Megamind and Minion up to? Well, they've met their match in the form of little Terry Sasko, Megamind's former #1 fan, who got referenced in a bunch of previous episodes. We finally get to meet him in the flesh. His face isn't absolutely hideous. Yeah, he was appointed hero of the day or something, so he's trying to take Megamind down and not doing a very good job. Except, Megamind considers him an actual threat for some reason. How are there still 7 more episodes to go? Like, what do I even say anymore? I think this show speaks for itself. Anyway, eventually Machiavellian actually does make this kid a threat by giving him Megamind's rejected inventions helmet. Megamind and Minion try and counteract this by hiding in the dumpster where they belong. But unfortunately, little Terry Sasko is just too powerful. I guess it is my duty to mention too that there are some jokes that are kinda cute and not bad. The subplot where Keiko's trying to distract her mom from noticing Megamind's gone by making her tell stories is also maybe the first Keiko related thing I didn't hate. It was kinda cute. For the most part, this episode is really boring and contrived though. Not really infuriating, but just kinda white noise. At least the character models for the sharks look better than they did in the movie. Megamind saves little Terry Sasko from one of the sharks and he realizes, hey, Megamind is pretty good actually.
Machiavellian is a bad guy?
Yes.
Gee man, when you say it out loud like that, yeah, I think that is quite plausible actually. And hey look, Roxanne shows that she's still on Megamind's side. Whoa, crazy, I never would have expected that. Yeah, and then the episode wraps up, it's whatever. Okay, time to get to the next one, chop chop. I got videos to make on shows I actually wanna watch. Episode 10 was maybe the best one so far. Shh, don't tell anybody, I kind of enjoyed it. I mean, this isn't unprecedented. I did kind of enjoy the episode in the first half of the season with the throwing robot. But yeah, this is my new favorite of the show overall. Solid 6 out of 10. Neat. Oh yeah, you're probably wondering what happens in it because like 98% of you haven't watched the show. Yeah, I don't blame you. So the episode starts with Megamind going on yet another donut retrieval mission. Oh nice, he learned absolutely nothing from the last episode. That's our Megamind. Why doesn't he just send the stupid kid to get him donuts? All she seems to do is hang out at home anyway. What is stopping her from picking these up for him? Whatever, Roxanne rightfully tells him, hey, you're an idiot. Why are you going out without a disguise? But unfortunately, he doesn't have the disguise watch because it's at his lair, which Machiavellian now has control of. Okay, I'll give the second half of the season this. At least it actually gives reasons for why Megamind doesn't just use his incredibly useful tech that could solve a problem instantly. Instead, they give him a makeover and oh my god! For generations, scientists have been preoccupied with the question, what if Megamind was white? Yeah, but you know, your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. I mean, God, what is this? Why did you bring this abomination into the world? Who hurt you people? I swear you guys, I wasn't memeing. This is still my favorite episode of the season so far. Just stay with me. Megamind gets a job at the store, and his boss is the former mayor, because, you know, new character models are hard. I know you're all dying to know, what do we call this beautiful, not at all disturbing, white Megamind? Why, his name is Michael Mind. Honestly, that's so dumb, I like it. Naming his alter ego that is maybe the first in-character thing Megamind has done in this entire show. He learned some lore about an employee of the month who mysteriously vanished, and figured he should try and solve this mystery. I also like this gag with how Machiavellian's merchandise is so cheap, it'll just spontaneously combust over and over again. That's cute, I like that. Also, Roxanne's assistant, who hates Megamind, finds herself completely in love with Michael Mind. That is also funny. You're getting a lot of points with me, show. Ooh boy, you better slow down. Alright, enough detours. We got a mystery to solve. Megamind and Stupid Kid find themselves chasing after some mysterious shadow. And eventually, they discover that shadow is a new character? Guys, there's a new character in this episode? It's not just a Doom Syndicate member again, or one of the millions of generic NPCs that get copy-pasted around town. The show is actually expanding for once. And not only that, but in a fun and creative way. Turns out this mouse guy is the missing employee of the month, who after a lab accident, now turns into a mouse every time he feels fear. Which is all the time. So Megamind, who has experience with not being accepted, tries to get people to accept this guy, and instead they all instantly scream in terror. That was kinda funny. I chuckled. Eventually, Machiavellian's terrible merchandise ends up causing a fire in the store, and Mouseman proves he's a good guy by rescuing the former mayor. Megamind helps too and wins the trust of this group of people back, just like he did with Terry Sasko in the last episode. It's kind of a nice story with some good jokes. Don't get me wrong, it's not like completely good. The stilted animation and timing do throw some things off and still make it feel a little cheap and awkward. Megamind also wastes time taking his white face off before trying to save the mayor from a fire, which is weird. I know it's symbolic and stuff, but like, dude, you got more important stuff right now. But for the most part, I had a pretty decent time with this one. It was a cute little one-off that I didn't mind watching. But whatever, any bad show can have a cute, decent episode here or there. Wake me up when that becomes the norm. Oh, hello there! I know I haven't been on camera in a while, but I just wanted to let you guys know I grew out my beard so that way you don't mistake me for Michael Mind. I don't look like him, okay? I wanted to cut in before we got to the next episode and talk about today's sponsor. Obviously, I subscribe to a lot of things, many of which I don't need. One of which will be Peacock once this agonizing ordeal of a video is over. What's a good way to avoid being charged for unnecessary subscriptions? Well, today's sponsor, Rocket Money, is here to help. Rocket Money is the personal finance app that helps you cancel subscriptions, lower bills, and manage your money better. I'm using Rocket Money to cancel those unwanted subscriptions I don't need anymore, just with a couple of taps within the app, which is super helpful, preventing me from toiling away in a customer service call I don't want to be in. I'm also using Rocket Money to set budgets, since I analyze my spending habits and create a custom budget tailored to my lifestyle, which is really neat and helpful. It helps me monitor my spending by category, and it alerts me with a notification if I go over my limit. Rocket Money has helped save its customers up to $740 a year, with over $500 million in canceled subscriptions. I can't even count that high. Well, actually, I probably could if I tried. It would take all day, so I won't. To save more and spend less, join the over 5 million members using Rocket Money today. How do you accomplish this? Simple! Go to rocketmoney.com/ShapeForAlice or click the link in the description to get started for free. You can also unlock even more features with premium. That's rocketmoney.com/ShapeForAlice to get started for free. Alright, back to the mines or whatever I was doing before this. This episode is entitled Game Over. Hey, that's like that thing that Titan said to Megamind that one time. Man, I miss Titan. Do not bring him back though. Please don't drag him into this. Anyway, in this episode, our resident nincompoop is once again just walking into the donut store to get donuts without his white disguise on. Why does he constantly learn nothing? What an amazing exercise in futility. Unfortunately, he's captured by Weather Lady and inexplicably finds himself back in his evil lair, even though Machiavellian took it over. What could possibly be happening? I mean, if you read the episode description, you'll know. That's not really the episode's fault, but since the description told me he was in a video game, I just kept waiting for him to figure that out. Stop spoiling shit for me, Peacock! Speaking of which, now's a good time to mention that I have the version of Peacock with ads. I refuse to spend more money than I need to on this. And since Despicable Me 4 was right around the corner when I watched these episodes, almost every single Peacock ad I got was one of only 2 trailers for this damn movie. My friends and I lost our minds by the end of this 8-episode marathon. Much like how this episode is about Megamind being conditioned to turn evil again through constant repetition of certain things, it felt like Peacock was conditioning us to accept Despicable Me 4 as our Lord and Savior over and over again. And I think it might have worked because by the end, we cheered when we saw the trailer for the 20th time. I want to say we were doing it ironically, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't know for sure. And yes, the irony of trying to watch a dinky Megamind streaming service show without Will Ferrell in it, and getting bombarded with the big budget theatrical Despicable Me sequel with Will Ferrell in it, is not lost on me. Way to kick a blue man while he's down, Universal. Alright, enough of this tragedy. Let's get back to the episode. Oh no, it's the Doom Syndicate. Ruh-roh. So Megamind shoots them with the dehydration gun, but this just causes the day to reset on him. He then tries all sorts of different modes on the gun, but none of them work. His mysterious watch that he can't take off keeps telling him game over, and he wakes up back in bed. While Mega Man tries to sort out his Sisyphus situation, the rest of the gang is watching Crab Cake Wars. Woo! I know a lot of you guys were excited to see my reaction to this portion of the episode, and yeah, it didn't disappoint. I was so hyped seeing the return of Crab Cake Wars. It feels like a moment specifically designed for me in particular.
Greg McGrapple is a judge this week? Oh, he's the guy who yells at bad restaurants.
Whoa, and I'm the guy who yells at bad movies, like Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. Unfortunately, the gang realizes they can't get a hold of Megamind.
Sir could be lost, or hurt, or even worse, lost and hurt at a jazz festival!
Alright, yeah, if you guys want to email me the explanation for that joke as well, that would be great. I think I understand it even less than the Mongolia joke. Meanwhile, Megamind discovers that the game he's in will only let him progress if he chooses villainy. I mean, I think fucking disintegrating the Doom Syndicate is an act of supreme evil. But I guess he did it in the name of good, so whatever. He goes on a crime spree around the city, just in the hopes of beating the game so he can get out of it and stop being evil. But little does he know that Machiavellian is slowly but surely turning every quadrant of his brain evil again. Yeah, okay, sure, man. That's totally gonna work. What a great plan. Why don't you just get him to play the genocide route of Undertale while you're at it? He knows this is a video game and there's no consequences, so what are you hoping to accomplish? Oh, he then wakes Megamind up in the real world and makes him believe that he's still in the game in order to get him to commit real-life crimes, which includes kidnapping Roxanne and flinging her off a building with incredibly stilted and awkward animation in order to get 1 billion points. That's actually a really good plan. I gotta hand it to Machiavellian. He comes up with some schemes that seem stupid at first, but end up being pretty effective and clever at the end of the day. Between this and what he did in episode 8 to get the city to turn on Megamind, he's kind of a credible threat and manipulator. And if I have to give him credit for making some good schemes, I guess I have to extend that to the writers. Huh, good job. I like what you're doing with him. This episode's still not completely good, I swear. It's got a lot of those stilted, awkward moments you'd come to expect from both an animation and writing standpoint. You don't really feel the weight of Megamind nearly killing Roxanne because of those issues. It just looks and feels ridiculous. But once again, I think conceptually this episode was really cool, and the execution was not half bad. It was pretty decent. I like the ending where Megamind expresses how he couldn't even let what he thought was a simulation of Roxanne die, and damn it, sometimes Behemoth can be pretty funny.
And you know what love is?
Emotional romantic bond forged in the fires of mutual admiration.
Unfortunately, at the end, Machiavellian just decides, hey, Megamind, go to jail. Oh boy, time for the prison arc. I'm sure it'll be even better than the one from Andor, because it has something that Andor didn't. Motherfucking Metro Man, baby! Okay, I might have gotten my hopes a little too high because of 2 decent episodes in a row and the idea of seeing Metro Man again. Because, yeah, this one was kinda rough. I mean, the primary antagonists are the Doom Syndicate. I'm starting to detect a pattern with the worst portions of this show. The Doom Syndicate can occasionally be fun when they play into what a squad of idiots they all are, but it was absolutely a mistake to have them carry the entire movie and the first half of the show. It definitely got more enjoyable when Machiavellian took their spot. He's just like 100 times more competent and menacing. But yippee, now we gotta deal with them again as they thwart Megamind's escape attempts.
I assume your partners in crime are sneaking up on me right now?
Does that count as a they're right behind me, aren't they joke? Please vote on whether it does or not in the comments below. Megamind decides to start planning his escape with the help of his friends. The rat guy, who's back as a rat permanently. I thought he was cured of his eternal fear. F it, who cares? There's also Dude Monkey. Oh, great, my favorite character. He's not really an annoying influencer antagonist anymore though, which is a relief. In fact, Megamind doesn't really influence anymore. There was only like one scene in this second half of the season where he talked to his loyal fans. The influencer premise has basically been completely abandoned. And I'm gonna be honest, that's amazing. I'm so pleased with that. It was a stupid, dumb idea, and the first episode of the show is still by far the worst because of how heavily it leans into this shtick. Now we can finally have a nice, awkward, lame Megamind show without constantly cringing at outdated internet lingo and memes. Hallelujah. Also, the creepy old guy with the cockroach is here. Did I talk about him before? I honestly don't remember. He's not important. The first half of the episode is pretty much nothing but these jokers trying to escape, only for the Doom Syndicate to foil every one of their plots. It's pretty repetitive and ho-hum. When is Metro Man gonna show up? Well, good news! It turns out he's here in prison. He actually wrote the annoying Polka Dot Llama song we heard earlier in the season. Did I talk about that before? I honestly don't remember. It's not important. What's important is our hero, Music Man, reuniting with Megamind and explaining that he's here in prison to get inspiration to write a prison blues song. His new voice is honestly not all that jarring. Like, it's obviously not Brad Pitt, but it's a decent impression that isn't too drastically far off. Honestly, all the VAs who had the thankless job of filling in for the absent celebrities do pretty well. Like, once you adjust your mindset to the idea that you're watching a TV show and not a theatrical sequel to Megamind, all the new voices pretty much click. Anyway, Megamind tries to get Music Man to help him escape, but Music Man will only do it after he writes his prison song. Once he does, oh no, he has stage fright now and he flies away super awkwardly. Speaking of which, no one is ever suspicious of this guy who can very clearly fly, who also looks extremely like Metro Man. Okay. And yeah, it is pretty weird that a huge showman like Metro Man would now get stage fright, but I guess music is a new arena for him. And as he says, he's never performed in front of anyone before. Except for when he performed his song in front of Megamind and Roxanne in the first movie. Remember that? Ooh, I don't know, you guys. This episode's starting to stink up the joint again. It's getting kind of stinky in here. Oh dear. At least we have a couple of interactions between Roxanne and Machiavellian where they try and one-up each other without publicly revealing they're against each other. I'm gonna be honest, you guys. I feel way more sexual tension between the two of them than I do between Roxanne and Megamind in this show. Make of that what you will. Okay, so there's this complicated situation where Roxanne pretends she's about to reveal that Machiavellian is evil, and she knows that this will get him to draw the Doom Syndicate out so he can fake fight them, and that way they won't be guarding the prison. How did you know he would do that? What if he just causes another sort of distraction, like a big fireworks show or something? What if he only called one of the Doom Syndicate over and the other 3 were still guarding the prison? Oh well, it doesn't matter. Megamind stays behind so he can help Metro Man overcome his stage fright. Forget the city. You don't need to escape and figure out how to help them. Cause what about your friend's music career? Won't somebody please think of the music? But yeah, Music Man comes out and he sings the blues song about Megamind cause they're friends. Aww. Then he punches a wall so they can escape and the Doom Syndicate fucks off cause they're scared. Yeah, kind of an awkward little episode, but not the worst thing I've ever seen. How many are left? Oh, we're halfway there. Okay, that's further than I expected, honestly. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't mind seeing where this goes. Oh, I mean boo! Megamind Rules stinks. Oh, brother, I wonder what's next for this train wreck. This episode opens up with a new character? Do my eyes deceive me? Is that like a new person who hasn't shown up in the show before? It was genuinely so jarring, considering aside from the rat dude, this show doesn't really introduce new characters. It just keeps reusing the same villains and the same background NPCs over and over again. So seeing this disgruntled construction lady who falls into some toxic waste and becomes a supervillain, okay, I see you, show. Actually starting to do the bare minimum and introduce a new villain instead of just making this another Doom Syndicate fight. Alrighty then. This episode also introduces a new neighborhood to Metrocity. You know how Italian people will get together and form Little Italy in places that aren't Italy? Well, turns out this show has its own little somewhere. That, of course, being Little Delaware, a coalition of people extremely proud of their Delawarean heritage, to the point where they refuse to leave Little Delaware. That's, how do I put this? That's a concept so funny that I could see it being in the first Megamind film. Like, I legitimately laughed out loud multiple times as they mentioned Little Delaware over and over throughout the episode. Is this show kind of funny? Like, there's still plenty of jokes that either aren't good or don't elicit any reaction out of me, but there were also quite a few that I think are actually pretty solid. It feels like the longer the show goes on, the more it actually starts to find its footing and identity, instead of just feeling like a watered down, embarrassing imitation of the original Megaminds. Like, skipping ahead a tad, in the next episode, Megamind forms a team of all the allies he's accrued, and it's kind of a solid little gaggle of side characters who are either pretty decent, like the rat guy, or started out annoying, but kinda grew out of that after a while, like Dude Monkey and Mr. Donut. It's not like super good, or the kind of thing I would ever willingly watch if I didn't have to make a video on it, but it kinda feels like it's starting to shed its cocoon and blossom into a, well, not a beautiful butterfly, a pretty average looking, maybe even a little bit ugly butterfly. But hey, that's an improvement. All that said, this episode is mostly pretty whatever. It's fine. Metro Man unearths a secret rock that allows him and Megamind to swap powers. So Megamind can fight crime, and Metro Man can be really good at writing music. Unfortunately, it has a side effect where it makes Megamind dumber, which, like, isn't the most drastic thing in the world because the show already made him dumber in general, so I don't really see a huge difference. Eventually, he and super smart Music Man team up to stop all these bombs the Destruction Worker planted, all as Roxanne tries to convince the residents of Little Delaware to leave their home. It's not really anything to write home to Big Delaware about, but yet again, it's an episode that I didn't absolutely hate watching. Huh, crazy. Alright, time for the final arc of the season. Let's go, baby! Like I said, this is the episode where Megamind recruits all his friends in order to stop Machiavillain from putting on Machiafest. You might notice someone is missing though. A pretty significant character to the Megamind lore and universe. Where the hell is Michael Mind? Shouldn't he be here helping his friends and taking back his city? What a ripoff! Also, Music Man is gone. At the end of the last episode, he decided to go on tour and left Megamind to defend and save the city. And that's it for the character in this show. He never comes back, and he only appears in 2 episodes, making him far less important than that tease at the end of Season 1A suggested. I don't necessarily mind that. It does kind of make it seem like clickbait on the surface, but at the same time, if they actually had Metro Man save the day with his powers in any capacity other than punching that one wall to let them escape prison, that would kind of fundamentally misunderstand the character. I thought everything they did with him was pretty respectful of the intentions of his arc in the original film. Which is more than I can say about how the movie reintroduced Megamines. Like, I really want to make that clear. As much as I'm kinda, sorta starting to not despise this show as it goes on, that does not change anything I said or felt about the pilot movie. That shit is still atrocious, and Megamine's character was completely bastardized. Roxanne suddenly becoming mayor is a pretty abrupt shift as well, and Minion is... well, he's not even called Minion anymore, so what does that tell you? But I think this show did kinda build off of Metro Man in a pretty natural way from where the movie left off. He's still as stubborn and rigid as ever about doing hero work, but he clearly sees Megamind as a friend and wants to help him realize his potential to be a hero in any way he can. Plus, he also left the show before he could do anything extremely stupid or out of character. So yeah, overall, not a bad showing for this guy. But seriously, where the hell is Michael Minns? Part of me wishes for the bad old days, where this show would just give me something absolutely atrocious, like Michael's horrifying pale face, or the lame influencer talk. It's nice to not hate myself when watching something, but I really wish Megamind would do something cringe. Yeah, my boy is twerking. It's about damn time. Alright, so the plot is they want to get their hands on one of the brain bots that has footage of Machiavellian saying, "I'll kidnap 1,000 children if I let this company die." And then they're gonna play that in front of the whole city to reveal that he's evil. I know this version of Megamind has a real issue with not doing the easiest solution in the whole damn world, but like, genuinely, how did he not think of this sooner? Maybe if he wasn't so adamant about getting donuts for 3 episodes in a row, he could have actually remembered this. There's also a little plot where he had a dream about Roxanne being in danger, and now he doesn't want that to happen in the real world. So you know that's just gonna end with him learning a lesson about letting Roxanne help. Blah blah blah, typical generic kids show stuff. Roxanne infiltrates Machiavellian's lair and gets him to prattle on about his genius, to the point where he doesn't notice that she's very obviously trying to get data out of the parrot. Alright, maybe this guy isn't as smart as I thought. Eventually, she grabs onto the parrot as it flies around for what seems like the entire day. I don't know how she did that, but hey, she gets the data. Meanwhile, the rest of the gang infiltrates the event and holy shit, it's Michael Minns! Finally, we've been graced with the presence of the best character in the show. Nay, in all of cinema. I think I might have Stockholm Syndrome, so I'm going home. Oh no, Machiavellian captured everybody, and now he's gonna sing his epic glam rock song. And it's pretty good. At least what we can hear of it, because it constantly keeps getting cut off.
Tempted away from his rightful place to mingle around with the human race. You can rock and roll, but you'll never be the same.
It's times like this when I remember that Adam Lambert, who also voices Machiavellian, is like a real musician. Like, this goes just as hard as the theme song, which he also wrote.
Just because it's shiny doesn't mean that it's grown.
Oh, he said the word. He said the word I like. Chrome! Eventually, Roxanne manages to put that "I'll kidnap 1,000 children if I let this company die" video on the big screen. And everyone in the city is shocked. Whoa, you mean Machiavellian is a villain? I'm still not over that. How did they ever trust this guy? Maybe they thought it was like a quirky, like you wouldn't expect him to be a hero sort of thing. Oh well, we got him. But oh no, his parade will be quite dry under his umbrella. He manages to finish the song and it leads to everyone getting hypnotized into turning evil. Including Megamind's friends. Including Minion. Including Roxanne. How is he gonna get out of this predicament? I'm actually mildly invested in this. Not to the point where this is like something I'm dying to continue, but it's a neat little cliffhanger. I can't believe it. They're getting semi-competent at telling the story. Wow. So in the previous episode, Stupid Kid got a cold and she had to stay home while everyone else did the mission. And it looks like she's the only other person besides Megamind who isn't evil right now. She also constantly mentions how her ears are clogged. And Machiavellian turned everyone evil through song. So obviously they turned evil through sound, right? You probably picked up on that immediately. But these two gotta spend half the episode trying to figure out why Stupid Kid was spared. You know why Megamind was spared? It's because Machiavellian won't be satisfied just turning him evil through hypnosis. He needs Megamind to actively choose evil again. it's a pretty decent conflict for this character to have to go through. My friend pointed out that the second half of the season generally does a better job at coming up with episode concepts that feel relevant to Megamind as a character, and not just wacky science invention plotlines that you can just plug any old idiot protagonist into. Like, the video game episode felt relevant to Megamind and his struggles with morality, and so does this last conflict with Machiavellian. It actually kind of feels like they're starting to get an understanding of the movie they're adapting, despite the abysmal start they had. Speaking of abysmal start, what's the Doom Syndicate up to? They all decided they don't like everyone in the city being a villain, because it upstages all of them. Okay, so why did they help Machiavellian turn everyone in the city into a villain? How are they the dumbest people alive? Oh well, they turn on him. The girls are fighting, However, Machiavellian is prepared, because he stole Metro Man's magic rock that switches people's powers, and he attaches it to a vacuum that sucks away the powers from the Doom Syndicate. Oh no!
Well, at least I still have my French accent.
Okay, that's actually pretty funny. Megamind and Keiko fight off all the brainwashed citizens and try to make it back to his lair in order to launch a missile at the satellite that's causing all these evil waves. Megamind almost destroys the satellite, but he gets offended by Minion insulting his donuts, and he reveals himself as a result. I don't really know why, but that's the kind of stupid action that feels in character with the original Megamind. Maybe because it's tied to his ego, but yeah, I don't know. I surprisingly don't have a problem with this moment. It just kind of makes sense. We also find out that Pierre Pressure is really from Ohio. That's also funny. Side note, my girlfriend brought up a good point. Why isn't his name Mime Control? Like, it just seems so obvious and they didn't take the great pun on the table for some reason. Oh well, who's ready for an underwhelming way to incapacitate Machiavellian? Turns out all they had to do was for Stupid Kid to jump on him and telegraph that she's doing so, and then she grabs his binky and that was it. And he couldn't have just moved slightly to the left. Whatever, sometimes I forget what show I'm dealing with here. Without the binky, Machiavellian's physical form disintegrates, but somehow his consciousness is transferred into the computer, so he's still around. But in order to stop Megamind, he needs to use his greatest weapon, the evil servant he transferred all of the Doom Syndicate's powers to. It's Roxanne? I hate how good her evil design is. Like, this show should not have the most viciously attractive depiction of her ever made. Finale time, baby! This episode is entitled Thrilling Conclusions, with an exclamation point. I don't know if it's necessarily gonna live up to the power of that piece of punctuation, or the rest of the title for that matter, but once again, it's the latest in a streak of episodes that isn't awful. The worst this second half of the show has gotten is just unengaging and uninspired, but still perfectly tolerable. It's like they used the vacuum to suck up all the supreme awfulness that the Doom Syndicate movie reeked of. Like, if the follow-up movie had a villain on the same level of moderate competence and strong evil plans as Machiavellian, I don't think it would have been nearly as atrocious as it was. It still would have been bad because of the awful animation and stilted jokes and horrible characterization, etc, etc, etc. But the writers really proved here that they can develop a pretty decent threat. It's just a shame they saved him for the TV show way less people paid attention to. But then again, I can understand wanting to build him up over time. That's what a TV show should do. It's just opening with that damn movie was the worst possible thing they could have done. It set everyone's expectations way higher than they should have been for what was obviously just the opening of a lower budget TV show. Okay, I just realized this is all stuff I should save for the outro. Let's actually finish this damn thing before continuing that train of thought. Megamind needs to stop the satellite from turning everyone on Earth evil in 22 minutes. Haha, that's the length of an episode, do you get it?
No.
And since he can't get into the room where he stores all his gadgets, he's gotta go on a shopping spree to Everything City. Wow, that makes me feel urgency and stakes. Eventually, Roxanne starts going after him, while Stupid Kid stays behind at the lair to prevent the binky from falling back into Machiavellian's hands. But everyone in the city is after it because Machiavellian tells them to get it, including Minion, who is inside the lair already. But it takes him a really long time to actually go after Stupid Kid and get it. What the f was he doing? Ah well, Keiko enlists the help of the pretty useless Doom Syndicate, who don't have any powers, and the brainbots who do most of the work in trapping the evil citizens. Stupid Kid also makes a big deal about how sad she is that she let Machiavellian get the binky in the first place, but after she gives Minion headphones and frees him from the mind control, she just drops the binky on the ground and forgets it. What a smart character. Meanwhile, Roxanne takes Megamind to that same tower where he saved her from Titan. Except Megamind says, you were the one who saved me.
Damn it, that's That's kinda cute.
I generally find Megamind's rebuttals to Machiavellian's insistence that he turn evil again, and his rebuttals to Roxanne's insistence that she likes being evil, to be pretty well written and a good expression of his character's current mental state. Like, what happened? It feels like they understand his character now. I'm shocked. And this culminates with Roxanne finally snapping out of it and kissing him. They did it! They're romantic again! And it's a nice callback to the video game episode where Megamind broke free of his evil programming to save Roxanne. I could see a version of this YouTube video you're currently watching where I play this clip of Machiavellian.
Control-Alt-Delete this mistake.
And then I could say, yes, thank you, please Control-Alt-Delete this mistake of a show. But I don't really want to do that. The easy thing for me would be to just pretend that this show is as bad as the movie, and try and recapture the visceral fury I expressed that made that video so viral and memorable for a lot of people. But I prefer to be honest about my thoughts and feelings on something, rather than contorting my reaction to suit whatever I think will get the most views and attention. I'm sure it would be easier for you if you clicked on this video based on the thumbnail and title that represented my, and presumably your, reaction going into this, and you expected a follow-up abrasive rant on the sheer lack of quality on display here. But I'm gonna be totally honest and true to myself when I say that this second half of the show is a significant improvement. Now to clarify, I still don't want to actually say it's like a legit good show. It's not really the sort of thing I could see myself seeking out to watch, and it's especially not worth getting Peacock for, come on. But it's the kind of show that I could see kids really enjoying and getting invested in. And I also feel the need to reiterate, none of my opinions from that original video have changed. Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate is still one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life. It's unfathomably bad, and the Dude Monkey episode with all the influencer talk was similarly atrocious. But over time, I think the writers started to find their footing with better jokes, more interesting plot lines, decent stakes, and an actual moderate understanding of what made the original Megamind so special. I did not have a bad time with the vast majority of Megamind Rules. It wasn't anything amazing, but I also don't find myself insulted by its existence anymore. The Doom Syndicate movie was insulting because it was hyped up as Megamind's grand return, when in actuality, it was a garbage TV pilot that never should have been promoted as the epic sequel we've all been waiting for. Yeah, if Megamind returned, I would have preferred if it did so with a big budget theatrical sequel, but ultimately, continuing it with a fine little streaming show for kids to enjoy, I don't know, it's harmless. I said in that original video that Megamind isn't nearly as relevant with kids compared to other DreamWorks brands, but that original movie is still around for them to watch, and if they do, here's more Megamind for them. It still feels like this whole project was greenlit because of how my generation still loves Megamind, which definitely makes this cheaply animated, heavily geared towards kids show a bizarre choice for a continuation to it. But regardless of the circumstances behind how it was greenlit, I think it's fine. Got off to an awful start, but hey, so did the Clone Wars. That's pretty similar, isn't it? A bad, poorly animated TV pilot that was given the weight of expectations of a feature-length film, and everyone hated it as a result. But then, the Clone Wars blossomed into something legitimately fantastic as time went on. Do I think the same could possibly happen with Megamind Rules if it gets a season 2? Probably not. I don't think this is on Clone Wars Season 1's level, and I especially doubt it'll reach the peaks of later Clone Wars. But, you know, never say never. What I saw in the second half of this season was legit promise from these writers, both in the storytelling and the joke departments. Yeah, a lot of it was still very stilted and awkward, and I don't think I'd ever watch any of this again, but I'm legitimately impressed that they managed to turn such a horrendous start around into something kind of okay and fun for kids to watch. The episode ends with Roxanne destroying the satellite and freeing everyone, only for Machiavellian to come back and then immediately get crushed by the satellite. Wow, that was worth the build-up. His consciousness is then forced to become Megamind's lab assistant. Roxanne apparently keeps the Doom Syndicate's powers, which is pretty based honestly, and it ends off with Stupid Kid telling everyone that they're destined for greatness, Megamind finishes. Hey, that's the thing his dad said in the movie that he couldn't hear. That's also kinda sweet, damn it. I have no idea if this show is getting renewed for another season, but if not, that's a pretty nice place to end things. And if so, I don't know, I'm glad everyone working on it can still have a job. I think now that we've cleared the atrocious fumble of the Doom Syndicate movie being hyped up as Megamind 2, this show can just keep going on without really tarnishing the legacy of the original Megaminds. And with that said, if we do get more episodes, I think I'm gonna make like Metro Man and say that I'm done with watching and reviewing them. This season ended on a solid enough note, and I don't think I'll get anything out of continuing to cover the show. It's not really my thing, and I sincerely doubt it'll ever get as bad as the movie did. So yeah, this is goodbye for now. I will have another video in the future that's semi-related to Megaminds, but I sincerely doubt anyone's gonna guess what it is. Either way, I think it'll be more fun than continuing this show. I'm neutral on it existing, and I think that's pretty much all there is to say about that. Until next time, good night, Matrosity. Okay, stop recording. Alright. Hi, yeah, I'd like to place an order for pickup. Can I get the salmon avocado roll? And that's it. Okay, thank you.
I was just wondering if you wanted to hang out with me and smoke weed and fill our bellies with diet soda.
Fish dinner.
Wait a minute! He used the dehydration gun?!